Hey everybody, Mr. Epic Skip here, back for another video. In today's video, I'm going to be testing out the new game, Grace. And not only that, at the very end of this video, I'm going to be ranking the entities compared to Doors entities. Alright, let's get right into the video, shall we? Alright, so I've played this game before, as you can clearly see by my stats. So, I'm just gonna play a game walkthrough of me doing it, and showing you guys all the entities and how they work and what they do. Alright, yeah. So, first up, we got Carnation. And Carnation is basically like Rush. And the only problem is, he's a little bit more difficult than Rush. He flashes your screen with a purple light, and then he zooms by after a little bit. You have to hide, but the hiding spot is like 4 to 5 doors away. So you have to sprint and see how fast you can get there before Carnation comes and eats you, which is not gonna be fun for some of you, I would assume. Alright, so the next entity is called Sight. And Sight will act kind of like Eyes from Doors, if you know that game, cause it's the main part of my channel, which, yeah. So, yeah, and basically, Sight is like Eyes, but with, like, a buff, I guess? So, basically, he has a huge hitbox, and if he's even in the corner of your screen, he will gouge out one of your eyes. I'm not joking, this is actually part of it. He will gouge out one of your eyes, half your screen will go blurry, and if he does it again, then you're gonna die. So you basically, he's a two-shotter. He shoots you in two, and he is very, very annoying and a lot more difficult than Eyes from Doors. So it takes like 10 damage if you look at it. Okay, so the next one is called Slugfish, and so Slugfish is kind of like what the name suggests. It's literally a slug and a fish. You know it's coming when you see a white screen, a white like glitch render come over your screen, just like you'd see for Carnation. But this time, you only have less time to react, and you have to hug the walls. And if you don't hug the walls, he comes in the direct middle of the room. So you gotta hug the walls and hope that he doesn't catch you on like a corner room or something like that, and you can dodge him that way. And I've heard a lot of people have difficult with this specific one because they think it's Carnation, they think they have enough time to go, but really they only have like 2 seconds before he comes and slides right by you. So you need to go out of the way by dodging it on this side. Alright, so the next one is called the Elkman. The Elkman is very interesting in an original concept. He does like a funny little dance whenever you're next to him, and he plays like this little like rhythm beat song whenever he's near, and like your screen gets like more and more staticky. In order to avoid him, you have to hide behind a wall or the door of the next room in order to avoid him. And if you do that and he doesn't catch you because he has like 10 seconds, 5 seconds before he catches you, then you survive and he goes away. You just have to hide behind a wall and then he can't see you. Alright, so the next one is called Heed, and Heed is very similar to Sight. So Heed is basically Sight but inverted and very red. You'll hear him in the next room. You'll definitely hear him with a song. It's definitely different from the other entities. And you have to look at him while going through the room. And you gotta make sure that like Carnation isn't after you or like other entities, because it's very annoying when you have to turn around to look at him. He does the exact same damage as Sight, so if you're already damaged by Sight once, he can kill you right there. Or if Heed hits you first and then Sight gets you next, you're also gonna die. They just cut out one of your eyes, and it's very brutal and very, very yucky. Alright, so the next one is called Dozer. Dozer is this smiley face type thing, and he's kind of like A90. So basically what he does is he'll appear on your screen, and you have to crouch, not sprint, crouch, but crouch. And if you don't crouch, then he will kill you. But the only good thing that comes out of this is instead of stopping for A90, all other entities besides the Goatman, which we'll get into for a second, will stop coming. And so I would prioritize Dozer over a lot of other entities when you're trying to do this. He only appears after the first level, so I'll explain a little bit more about that later. Okay, so next one is Sorrow, and Sorrow is kind of like he's there when you see a torrential downpour of bloody rain, which is literally just red rain, and you'll see it come down onto your screen. And what you got to do is you got to go under a hiding space and crouch under it, or like a door frame, in order to avoid him. And by doing this, he'll come over the top of your screen, and then if you don't avoid him in time, he will kill you. He's basically like kind of like the slugfish a little bit, but he comes up the top of your screen and you have to hide under something instead of on the side of a room. Alright, and lastly we got the Goatman. The Goatman is literally just like Haste, but instead they play this awesome music, and then you have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to reach the next bunker, and if you don't reach it in time, he will kill you. And he'll turn your screen red just like Haste, and then he'll eventually go and kill you. And then lastly, what I want to mention is the guiding light of this game, which is literally just like a Seek Eye, and he says the same like 8 phrases over and over again, and you just have to. He doesn't help you at all, but he just tells you random lore stuff. So I wouldn't worry about him too much. He's always at the death screen. All right, as I told you guys, I was gonna be ranking the doors entities based off these counterparts. So let's see which one is better. So first off, we're gonna start with an easy matchup, which is going to be Carnation and Rush. So these two entities are very, very alike, that they definitely have like a warning sound, and then they come through the halls. Rush is definitely a whole lot easier than Carnation, and Carnation is really mean to new players, especially since it's the first entity that you'll encounter in your run of Grace. So personally, throughout all this knowledge of both games decently well, I have to say that Rush will take the dub for this one. And so that's Doors 1 point for that. Only because Rush is nicer to players for start, and it's also just like an easy mechanic to master rather than Carnation. But I should have some mixed opinions for it, because if you're a speedrunner, Rush is really annoying because he just appears. But as this Rush, you get to like actually run through the halls and do it. So this is basically like Doors speedrun mode. Alright, so next up we have Sight and Eyes, which makes sense, you know? You gotta match those two up. So Sight and Eyes, very different, very similar. They're both eye creatures. You both can't look at them. Sight is a lot more difficult. If you look at him for a slight second, he will kill you and grab you right there. And Eyes, it takes a while for him to actually do any damage, making him one of the easiest entities in the world, because his hitbox is so large. So personally, I'm going to have to give Sight the dub here, because it just makes it a more fun game to play, as he's more difficult to avoid. Alright, and I'm gonna pair Slugfish with A60 from the rooms. That's because I'm running out of ideas for what Slugfish could do. Because Slugfish is an original mechanic. No other like type of Roblox Doors ripoff has even tried a Slugfish before. So this is an entirely new concept, so I do give credit to the audience right here. And A60 is literally just a rush, but a little bit difficult because he doesn't warn you when he's there, but he's very loud, so you'll probably hear him. And Slugfish comes really fast, which is really scary for new players, as it can be frightening, as you don't know where it is or when to go or whatever. And in this case, it would just be nicer for Slugfish to win this, because Slugfish just does a better job than A60 does in the rooms. Alright, so next up we got the Elkman, and the Elkman is a very interesting one. And I'm gonna pair the Elkman with the Lookman, and even though I know that might be a little bit weird, but like, I'm kind of running out of ideas because they're so original that you don't really know. So the Elkman, you have to hide behind a wall, and the Lookman, you just have to don't look at him, or else he'll damage you a lot more than Eyes will, and it's very, very annoying. So basically, the Elkman is very, very annoying in my opinion. I hate that guy, especially when you're going through those rooms with a bunch of parkour, and the Elkman's there. You can't do anything really fast, and you just die because you weren't prepared for it. And I hate that so dang much. I don't know why. I hate it. So therefore, I'm gonna have to give Lookman the win here, only because my utter hatred for the Elkman. So I'm gonna pair Heed up with Screech, and I know that might sound a little crazy, but you have to look at them in order to stop them from coming. So personally, it gotta be that way. So Screech is a very easy mechanic, as you literally look at it in a dark room and it goes away. Very simple, very easy, except unless you got a modifier on that's like super annoying or something. And then Heed is one of the worst entities in my opinion for the speedrunners, because you have to look at it while you're trying to open the door, and it's really, really annoying. So, but Heed is one of those reasons that you try to fear this game. It's one of the reasons why it's so difficult to try to beat it. So I gotta put Heed for the win here for a 3-2 matchup right now. Doors losing 2 and Grace winning 3 right now. Only because Heed is just like a better mechanic than Screech is in this sense right here. And I'm not trying to diss on any of these guys, just saying, except for Elkman. I hate the Elkman. But yeah, I wanna get these out. Alright, 2 more entities left. We got Dozer, and Dozer, of course, we're gonna match that up with A90. And so Dozer is literally you crouch, and it's super annoying, but the only good thing that comes out of it is it stops the other entities from going. And so this is a different mechanic than A90 has, where you just have to stop in place for a few seconds. But Dozer gives you a lot more time. You just have to normally crouch in order to avoid him, and he's very, very difficult to avoid. But therefore, he is one of the later entities, so only the pros get there if they want to. So that's why he is one of the best. And then A90, on the other hand, you just have to stop, and then you get to go. So he's pretty easy mechanic to control. The only problem is that Dozer does one-shot you, but A90 takes 90% of your damage, which is better because then you still have one more chance, especially if you find band-aids in the rooms, and you're able to survive A90 again. So Dozer, I think, should take the W for this. And I know this means that there's only 2 more entities left, and they can only tie. But yes, I think Dozer is just a better mechanic to make it like even more scary. And I just think Dozer should win against A90 in this scenario. I'm going to match Sorrow up with Blitz. I know, it's crazy, but I'm kind of running low on Doors entities here. So I think that it should be Sorrow and Blitz, only because it's like one of the last rush entities, and this game has definitely a decent amount of rush entities. Okay, so the Sorrow is it shoots red rain, and then you have to crouch under a doorway or like a hiding space, and you just have to try to survive as he passes through above you. And Blitz, he comes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and he's super annoying. I hate him super much. I hate him super much. I hate him super much. But in this scenario, personally, although it's a cool mechanic and all, it just annoys the heck out of me. So personally, I gotta give Blitz the win for this one, only because this is just like Sorrow super annoying to beat, and especially for people that have been trying to go for a run in a while and they can't get past the stupid Sorrow thing. I know I didn't. I died to the first one that I got to. So yeah, I'm gonna let Blitz win against Sorrow in this scenario. Alright, lastly, we got the Goatman. And will Doors be able to pull through here? Alright, we got the Goatman, and we got Haste. So, the Goatman is actually a lot similar to Haste, which makes sense. But they're way more similar than you would think. Except that the music is just a lot cooler in Grace. But after 2 minutes and 30 seconds in the first bunker, you have to get bunker from bunker in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which is literally just speedrun mode for Doors. So, and in Doors, you have to get to the back door in 2 minutes and find another lever before your timer runs out, or Haste will get you. So Haste and Goatman are very similar, as you can clearly see, and they also have this red glow whenever they're near, which is kind of ironic. that they're exactly basically the same. And so once you see this red glow, you can flash the Goatman with your flashlight in order to gain a little bit more time. And so this mechanic does make it a little bit of a better game, I feel like, than Haste does with doors, because if you can't find a lever, you're cooked, you're dead, and you can no longer escape the back door. So in drumroll please, the winner of Grace versus Doors is going to Grace. Woo! Okay, guys. Yeah, I feel like just the Goatman was a better design for Haste, and that means that the Grace wins by 2 points, and they will take the W against Doors. And this doesn't mean that Doors sucks or anything. It's just my personal opinion that Grace did their entity is like a little bit better, but they still can improve as this game is still in testing stages. So I really feel like the Doors developers could add new intriguing entities, kind of like Pressure, or they add variants of the same entity. That'd be really cool, and maybe they'd win this one. But unfortunately for Doors, Grace has won, and it's just speed running Doors, and this is an awesome game. I really recommend you guys to check it out. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, Mr. Epic Skip out.